Hello everyone and welcome to another Blender tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this motion graphics animation in Blender 2.83. Now this is an intermediate level tutorial. I wouldn't recommend this for absolute beginners. So we're not going to be making everything you see here. So this one here is what we're going to be seeing how to make today. I'm going to go step by step how to make this. It's not a lighting or materials tutorial. That being said, my original scene file and the animation the rendered out animation you see playing over here, that's what you guys on Patreon are going to be getting. So I will be making that original scene file so you guys can break it apart. But even the tutorial we're doing today isn't that much different than my original scene file. I'm going to be breaking down the main kind of concept of this animation. I hope you guys like it. Let's get into it. Okay, so for a brand new scene, open up in Blender 2.83, go ahead and select everything and then go X and delete. Okay, so the first thing we want to add into here is a plane. So we're going to go Shift A, go to our mesh options. We're going to add in a plane. We're going to tab into edit mode, then go RX90 and hit enter. Then we're going to go G, Z, and holding in control, we're going to move this guy down till it snaps to the floor, like so. We're going to come in here to our modifiers tab. We're going to add in a modifier, and let's add in a mirror modifier. Let's make it Z and disable the X and also enable clipping. Okay, so what we're going to do now is give it some loop cuts. We're going to go Control R, just roll in some loop cuts here with Control R. So roll your middle mouse button. I'm going to go with something like this and then go Control R and just roll in some geometry up like this. And then what I'm going to do is go to my proportional editing. I'm going to make the fall off sphere and I'm going to grab this vertex here, holding Shift. I'm going to grab this vertex, then go G, Z, and just move this guy up. Like so. And then scale them, hit S to scale, then G, Z, just move it up. So I'm just making something that looks kind of like this, and you can take all the time you want to perfect it, but just making that round like that. So I'm going to tab out of edit mode, then I'm going to come here, minimize that. I'm going to add in a solidify modifier, and I'm just going to increase the thickness of that. And then I'm going to enable shade smooth, and I'm just going to come here and give this an edge split. So here at the moment we have this guy here, which is going to be our little hinge thingy that flips. So what I'm going to do is go Shift A, going to go to my mesh options, I'm going to add in a cylinder. I'm going to go to my cylinder options here, I'm going to give it a vertex count of 16. And with that done, I'm going to tab into edit mode, go R90 and hit enter on my front orthographic view. And I'm just going to go S and scale this guy down quite small. Disable proportional editing. Then go S, X and scale along the X to about here, something like that. And then we're going to go Control R to add a loop cut in the middle, and then hit V to cut that, right click to let go, and we're going to select the vertex on our left side, go Control L and then X and delete all those vertices. And let's go add in a mirror modifier. So we're going to go to a mirror modifier here, and we don't want clipping enabled. I think what we're going to do, okay, leave clipping enabled, so enable clipping here. And what we want to do is just tab out of edit mode quickly, grab this guy over here, and you just go G, Y, and just move it so it's here right in the middle of our scene, so we don't see this guy here. So let's tab into edit mode with this guy selected again, and just finish that off. So what we want to do is just go G, X of those vertices selected, and just bring it out to about here, just a distance like that. So you can see here the grid spacings if you want to look for reference here. And then what we're going to do is select this bottom vertex on this guy here. Go Shift S, we're going to go cursor to selected. Then we're going to select all of these vertices, Shift Alt and click on them. And then what we're going to do is hit F3 and we're going to type in here spin in this box and click on the spin option. And if we open up our little spin tab here and we roll this, we can roll it to 90 degrees, or we can just manually type in here 90 and hit enter. That's going to spin at 90 degrees, and if you come here to these steps, you can add in less or more steps. I'm just going to make it something like 5, which is good, and then I'm going to go E, Z, and just extrude these faces down. And because we're mirroring it, it should be saving us a lot of time mirroring it on the other side. So I'm just going to G, Z, and just move these vertices all the way down for now, like that. So let's just tab out of edit mode. And what we're going to do now is add in some more details. So I'm going to go Shift A, I'm going to come and add in a cylinder. Sorry about that. What you want to do is go Shift S and we want to go cursor to world origin, and then Shift S, and then we want to go to selection to cursor. So now this guy is in the middle of our world where it should be. And then we're going to go RX90 and hit enter. And then we're going to tab into edit mode, go into our wireframe, and then we're going to go S, X, and just scale it along the X like this. and then select these top vertices here, and then go X and delete vertices. And now we can just select these two top vertices here and go E, Z, and just extrude them up a little bit like that to create a bit of a wall. And then let's just tab out of edit mode. And what we want to do is go G, Z, and move this guy just so it's above our floor here in our scene. And then we're going to go Control I to inverse the selection, to select everything else, and go G, Z, and just move this guy up like that. So G, Z, and we're just going to move it up till it's just sitting above that guy there. And then what we're going to do is grab this guy again, and then we're going to go S, Y, and just scale it along the Y. Just like that for now will be enough. We're not going to see any of this in the sides anyway, so just make it something like that. We'll be fine. And then we're going to go to Object, enable Shade Smooth. Let's go to our Edit mode, and we're going to give this guy a Solidify modifier. And we're just going to drag this value to the negative, so it just goes out a bit, gives this guy some thickness. And then we're going to go and add in an edge split as well. So we should have something that looks like this. And you can make this thickness as little or as much as you want. I'm just going to go with that. Okay, so here we have this little trough thingy that our sphere, our tic-tac thing is going to be traveling in. So let's go and make that object. So we're going to go Shift A, and we're going to add in a UV sphere. Go into our right orthographic view by hitting 3 on our number pad. Then we're going to go Z, go into a wireframe, tab into edit mode of this guy, and then go R90 and rotate it. And then what we want to do after that is select all of these vertices here on the right side, and then go E to extrude them. And this is extrude them out to about here, like that. Just to make like this tic-tac looking shape. We're going to tab out of edit mode, and with this guy selected, we're going to hit F3, and we're going to type in set origin. So we're going to click on set origin, and then we're going to make it origin to geometry. So now the origin point is right in the center there, and we can rotate it in its middle perfectly. So what we're going to do is go G, Z, and just move this guy up so it's sitting just on top of this guy here, like right there. We're going to go to Object and enable Shade Smooth. Okay, that should be just fine. So we're going to eventually animate this guy here, kind of like turning as this guy comes through. So that's done for now. Let's just add in some basic scene here. So I'm going to go Shift A, go to our mesh options. I'm going to add in a plane, scale it up, go G, Z, just bring it down a bit, and then go tab into edit mode, go E, Z, just extrude it down, and then go Shift D, bring this guy down, tab into edit mode, G, Z, and just bring those vertices down. Now this is not, like I said, a final tutorial. We're not going to be doing lighting materials, but I'm just doing a rough remake of my original scene. So I'm just going to scale this in maybe a bit. Okay, that'll be fine. Now let's just get ourselves a nice camera angle. So I'm going to go something like 45 degrees. I'm going to go Shift A, I'm going to go to my camera settings, add in a camera, hit 0 to go to my camera view. And then with my camera selected, I'm going to go G, hit my middle mouse wheel, and just pull back. Now let's go to our camera settings. I'm going to make this guy orthographic. Then I'm going to go to my camera output settings, and I'm just going to make the Y value here 1920, so we have a square aspect ratio, so it's 1920 by 1920. And I'm going to go back to our camera, and if we want to zoom in and out, we can grab this orthographic scale and move it around. So I'm just going to go with something like this, and just go ahead and make it whatever you want. Totally up to you. I might just go with something like this, and I'm going to go Shift A, add in another plane, just scale it up, and go G, Y, and just take it down and scale it up. Just making a scene like this. So totally up to you how you want to do that. But let's just quickly get into the animation. I'll show you guys how we do it. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so to do our animation, the first thing we're going to do is grab this guy here. And let's just also go to our end frame value here. We're going to make it 120 and hit enter. And let's just drag this bar up here to give us a bit more real estate. And then we can move this guy here. And we want to make sure we're on frame 1. And on frame 1, we're going to go into our camera view by hitting 0. We're going to grab this guy here and go G, and then go Y, and just move it out of our camera view to something like that. And with that done, we can now go I and insert a location key. So we're on frame 1, we've inserted a location key over here. And we're going to drag this slider all the way to 120. And at 120, we're going to go G, Y, and just move it over here out of our frame. So it's going to be sliding across here, and then we're going to go I and insert a location key. So we should get this when we play animation. Okay, and it's going to be loopable as far as once we render it out, it's going to loop loopable. So it's just going to come through again and just keep going, which is what makes it a loopable animation. And now I'm going to show you how we very easily animate this. So what we want to do is grab this guy now, and we want to drag this slider to just before the point where this guy is going to be hitting it. So this, in this case, that's going to be frame 53. So let's just make frame 53. It's kind of intersecting, but you don't really see it coming through. So let's just make it frame 53. And we're going to go I, and we're going to insert a rotation keyframe with this guy selected. And then what we want to do is move forward a few frames. So let's just go to frame 60, go to our right orthographic view, and then we're going to go R and just rotate this guy up like so, and then go I and insert a rotation keyframe. So we should see this, okay, as it's coming through. We shouldn't see any intersection. If you do, what you can do is any of those points we see intersection, you can rotate it a bit more. So I'm going to rotate it on about 56, and then go I, insert rotation. So let's have a look at that. Okay, that looks a lot better. So we shouldn't see any sort of intersection there. It should just all look smooth. And let's just keep going. So let's just go to frame 65, round about there, and then go R, and just rotate it fully, and then go I and insert a rotation key. So we should see this. And then it moves through, and then where it comes to the back of this here, so it might be a little bit different depending on how you did yours, but for me that's going to be at about 76, 77. I'm going to go R, rotate it down so it's touching there, and I'm going to go I, insert a rotation key, keep moving a little bit, and I'm going to go to about frame 90, and I'm going to rotate this guy down back to where it was almost, but not quite. And I'm going to go I, insert a rotation key, and let's just have a look at that. And it comes down just like that. And you can grab this one in the end and go G to move it around if it's going too fast or too slow, but I'm just going to leave it at frame 90. So that looks like a nice little animation. And then we want to make sure it just is perfectly on 90 when it comes back. So what I'm going to do is on frame 90, I'm going to hit N to open up my properties panel, go to my items, and we can see here on the X. Okay, so I'm just going to make it. Okay, an easy way we can do this is just to grab the first frame over here where it was just at the proper rotation. I'm going to grab this guy here on frame 53 and go Shift D and just drag it on top of frame 90. So now when it comes back, it should be exactly where it started. So we don't get any kind of weird jumping around when our animation loops. So it should just be perfectly where it started at first. So just grab this guy, the first one we created, the keyframe, and then Shift D, drag it over to your last frame. So it just all meshes together. So that is the animation of this scene. And you can see here we're getting a little bit of intersection because of this guy here. So I might just go G, Z, and just bring that down. Let's go to our front view. Let's just play the animation. Okay, what I should, that's fine. It won't really matter too much, but what I should have done when I was animating this is I should have applied the modifiers and then just set the origin. Like I should have typed in set origin, and I should just set the origin to the center of the geometry, which would have solved that problem, but it doesn't really matter. We just worked around it. So let's just, yeah, so that is how you make this sort of animation. It's completely loopable. For those of you guys who are on Patreon, like I said, you'll be getting this scene, my original scene file, for free. I hope you guys learned something cool, make something cool with this, post it on Instagram, share it with people, and I'll see you guys later for another tutorial.